Alright guys, what's up? This is King J Smooth back with another reaction, man. And this one right here is by They Will Kill You channel. That's the name of the channel, They Will Kill You. So yeah, that's the name of the channel, They Will Kill You, right here. You can't subscribe. YouTube don't like us subscribing to channels. So hold on. So not only will you take you will take the subscribe away if you subscribe and you don't go to the channel in a minute or whatever, because you don't throw it up in the algorithm and stuff like that, so we can see when they get new stuff out. But not only will you take it away, you make it so that you allow it so that we can't subscribe to the channel. But anyway, that's neither here or there. We'll talk about that later. This is when pranks go wrong. Yeah, when pranks go wrong. There's another one I want to look at. Alright, let's see.
Number 11. Train derailment. In July of 1982, a group of teenagers in Fairlawn, New Jersey, pulled a prank which had devastating consequences. They threw a railroad switch, which caused the train to fly off the tracks at 50 miles per hour and then crash into the wall of a pasta factory. The train conductor was killed instantly, and over a dozen passengers were injured. The derailment also caused property damage in excess of $5 million. A few of the teenagers were tried as adults for manslaughter and sentenced to 5 years in prison. Upon their release, one of the deadly pranksters, Peter Wade, would go on to become a prominent Wall Street analyst, as well as a film director. Based on what he and his friends had done, Wade wrote and directed the movie Tracks, which was released in 2005. Number 10. Jeffrey Charbonneau.
Now I gotta go see the movie Tracks. Remember that movie?
On Thanksgiving Day 2010, Jeffrey Charbonneau and Nicholas Bell were staying in a mutual friends, as their homes had become overcrowded with visitors. While Charbonneau was sleeping, Bell decided to prank him and took what he thought was a loaded BB gun. He then pulled the trigger and the weapon produced a deafening sound. Excitement turned to horror as Bell realized he'd just shot his friend with an actual firearm. The .22 caliber rifle ended Charbonneau's life as he'd sustained penetrating injuries to his chest. Bell immediately called emergency services. A trial followed in which he pleaded no contest to manslaughter, simple assault with a weapon, and reckless endangerment. Number 9. Garrett Hurst. In June of 2019, a teenager killed his best friend in a Dukes of Hazzard prank gone wrong in the parking lot of the Crow's Nest pub in Nuneaton, England. 19-year-old Garrett Hurst jumped on the hood of his friend's moving car. Harrison Walker, also aged 19, kept driving, and Hurst lost his balance. The teenager fell from the vehicle and the front tire went over his head, causing multiple skull fractures and a devastating brain injury. Walker and several others lifted the car and dragged Hurst out. Unfortunately, he sustained a critical amount of...
Listen, I be seeing this in the streets, you know, people be on top of cars and stuff like that. Especially in summertime, wild and all, they be drunk, you know, a little high, inebriated and all types of stuff. Man, don't do that. Don't sit on a car, especially while it's moving and stuff. And people driving all wild and crazy. So you heard what just happened. He fell off. He lost balance, fell off, and then even kids do this all the time. Like, it's crazy. But anyway,
crushing damage, and was pronounced dead 3 days later. A trial followed the incident and speculations arose that Walker would be imprisoned for dangerous driving. However, he was given a 12-month prison sentence, suspended for 2 years, and was banned from driving for 3 years.
That's crazy.
Number 8. Jeannie and Mary Shea.
That was stupid.
In 2011, Ohio teens Derek Greenlee and Seth Stonerock posted on Facebook about their latest prank. It involved wrapping a stop sign in plastic to the point that it was barely visible, while to them it probably seemed like a harmless joke. Their actions would have dire consequences. Sisters Jeannie and Mary Shea, both in their 80s, were out for a drive and didn't see the covered stop sign. They drove straight through and an SUV, which had the right of way, crashed into them. Mary died at the scene while her sister was pronounced dead at the hospital. Both teens were charged with involuntary manslaughter and tampering with a traffic control device. Greenlee's case would eventually be dismissed since it was claimed that he'd only purchased the wrap and hadn't actually covered the sign. Stone Rock would serve 8 months of a 4-year sentence. Number 7, Daddy of 5. In 2017, Maryland couple Mike and Heather Martin temporarily lost custody of 2 of Mike's children after their family pranks were deemed abusive. The couple ran a YouTube channel called Daddy of 5, which had amassed hundreds of thousands of followers. Many of the pranks that the Martins played on their children were questionable. They involved older children cursing at their younger siblings or playing games that resulted in them hitting each other. The stunt that caused the strongest reactions from viewers was called the Invisible Ink Prank. It involved Heather spraying fake ink over her son's carpet and then blaming him for spilling it. The woman and her husband's staged anger involved screaming profanities at the children and his brother while accusing them of lying. Mike, at one point, threatens to sell off all their favorite toys. The children begin to cry uncontrollably for several minutes before the prank is revealed. YouTuber Philip DeFranco is credited with shining a light on the channel's troubling content. Once the authorities got wind of it, they found some of the videos to be disturbing and exploitative. The couple was sentenced to 5 years probation on 2 counts of child neglect each. Custody of 2 of the children was returned to their biological mother, and the Martins were forbidden to make unsupervised contact with them. Number 6, Pramila Lau. In 2013, a teenager was fatally shot as she attempted to prank a family friend in Longmont, Colorado. 18-year-old Pramila Lau's family had recently moved, and friend Nerek Gali was keeping an eye on the vacated house. At the time, the 21-year-old was playing video games with Lau's younger brother. Just before 8 p.m., the teenager snuck into the home and hid inside a closet. Gali heard a noise and believed an intruder was on the premises. The man feared that burglars had targeted the home after they'd gotten wind that the family had moved. He grabbed a handgun and started clearing the house. Then, as Lau jumped out of the closet trying to scare him, Gali pulled the trigger. Lau was shot and sustained severe injuries from which she wouldn't recover. The girl's family, as well as the authorities, viewed what had happened as a tragic accident. Number 5, Randy Lee Tenley. In 2012, Montana man Randy Lee Tenley was killed after he tried to trigger a Bigfoot sighting. To pull off his prank, 44-year-old Tenley donned a military-style ghillie suit, which is a type of camouflage outfit that's made to resemble dense, thick foliage. Tenley then emerged from the woods on a dark stretch of highway. The middle-aged man was struck by 2 different cars, each driven by teenage girls who were presumably terrified by the sight of him. The consecutive collisions proved fatal. It wasn't disclosed whether the man, reportedly part of a group of friends who set up the prank, had been drinking. An investigating highway patrol officer told a media outlet, "This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen."
Oh my gosh.
Number 4, Adrienne Broadway. In February of 2014, a teenager from Little Rock, Arkansas, was fatally shot in a prank that involved toilet paper in a car. 15-year-old Adrienne Broadway and others in her group were trying to get back at a teenager who'd pranked them on Halloween. They pulled up to their friend's house and threw mayonnaise, eggs, leaves and toilet paper on a car in the driveway. As they were getting ready to leave, 48-year-old Willie Noble came out of the house and opened fire on their vehicle. One of the bullets struck Broadway in the head and she was later pronounced dead in a local hospital. It was reported that Noble hadn't called the authorities after opening fire on the teenagers. He was later charged with first-degree murder, 1 count of a terroristic act, and 5 counts of aggravated assault. Noble was subsequently sentenced to 30 years in prison.
That's messed up.
Number 3, Alexia Morano. On January the 22nd of 2020, Toronto-based YouTuber Jason Ethia posted a video claiming that his girlfriend at the time, Alexia Morano, had died. Ethia, better known as I'm Jay Station, claimed that Morano had been killed by a drunk driver. He uploaded videos to his channel of himself crying beside a roadside memorial, which the 29-year-old had set up for his allegedly deceased girlfriend. It featured a cross with her name on it, as well as flowers battery-operated candles, framed photos, and a teddy bear. The clip received well over 1 million views. The YouTuber subsequently uploaded a video in which he tried to contact her via a Ouija board. Meanwhile, Morano was alive and well. Ethia eventually revealed it to be a hoax, much to the discontent of his followers, who felt the man was trying to exploit a tragic scenario for views. Morano's parents were also outraged by the disturbing and distasteful content. In the scandal's aftermath, Morano moved out of his apartment. Ethia defended his actions by saying that he'd been trying to help his girlfriend, who he claimed was in a dead-end job, by promoting her on YouTube. On January the 26th, he released a video crying and apologizing to Morano's parents, but also claiming that because of the prank, there was a warrant out for his arrest. However, the Toronto Police Service refuted the YouTuber's story. Today's topic was inspired by Instagram follower Spectre Nova. If you have any other topics you'd like to learn about, subscribe and let us know in the comments section below.
Yeah, go subscribe.
Follow us on Instagram and reach out to us there. Number 2, Mark Drews.
If YouTube let you.
Mark Drews was fatally shot in 2004 while trying to pull a prank which involved ringing someone's doorbell and then running away. Drews and several of his friends chose the house of Jay Levin in an affluent Boca Raton neighborhood in Florida. Just after midnight, Levin heard noises outside his home and came out with a .40 semi-automatic handgun. He would later testify that he thought 16-year-old Drews, who was reportedly backing away as Levin came out, was also holding a gun. Levin opened fire and the teenager died after sustaining a gunshot wound to the back. The man pled guilty to manslaughter with a firearm in exchange for a sentence that was accompanied by a host of special conditions. He was given 10 years probation and had to spend short weekends in jail from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., the first year of his sentence. He was also ordered to perform 1,250 hours of community service and to pay the victim's family $750,000. Number 1. Danny Monroe. 26-year-old Danny Monroe from North Staffordshire, England, would often take his practical jokes to the extreme in order to shock those around him. On one occasion, he faked anaphylactic shock while he was driving, and in another prank, he squirted ketchup on his body and pretended he'd been stabbed. After his latest stunt, Monroe and his girlfriend had a conversation about his behavior and how it could put him in dangerous situations. Then in August of 2018, the woman found Monroe hanging with a rope around his neck. She believed it to be another one of his pranks and told him to stop. The longer it went on, Monroe's girlfriend started screaming and hitting him. She soon realized something had gone horribly wrong upon noticing that he was turning blue in the face. The woman called emergency services and Monroe was rushed to the hospital, where he died a few years later. A post-mortem examination attributed his death to massive brain swelling from compression to the neck. Thanks for watching. Would you trick everyone you know into thinking you were dead for a month if it meant that you'd get $10,000 at the end of it? Let us know in the comments section below. Number 11. Train derailment.
Nah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't prank everybody I know that I was dead for a month so I could get $10,000. Nah, I wouldn't. But dang, son, this is They Will Kill You channel, man. Y'all go get them subscribe, man. They have 1.92. Oh my goodness, man. That was crazy. That was crazy. Them some crazy prank stories. Now, imagine someone pranking you, and because they pranked you, you end up doing time. Yo, that's crazy. Like, you thinking it's like a murder or something like that, or, you know, you in danger or something, and you end up serving time behind it. Like the doorbell ditch at 12. Like, come on, it's 12 o'clock in the morning. You come in ringing on my doorbell. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? Somebody come here at 12 o'clock in the morning. I'm ready to do something. I had a dude come here at 3 o'clock in the morning. I was ready to smoke his ass. But, you know, I be having the kids with me and stuff, so I don't be wanting to cause too much ruckus or too much noise, get them all startled up and stuff like that. Nothing happened with them, but golly, that's crazy. And they wasn't doing no time, like no little time. They was doing some hard time behind that. And then the train derailment. Oh my God, why would you mess with the train tracks, man? That's crazy. That's crazy, but. It's King J Smooth with another reaction video, man. Peace out, Road family. I'm gonna do some more, but I'm out for right now. That's crazy. I gotta shake this off.